Hey guys, Cat Demon 43, and I'm back with another episode of The Letter. Last episode, which was a while ago, and I am very sorry it took me so long to upload the previous episode, because I had recorded that one, obviously, 3 weeks before, but because of some things happening, I wasn't able to fully finish editing and getting the video up onto YouTube until like 6 days ago. And the reason is for that is because I've been looking into publishers, into getting my book, Louise a Vampire Story, published. Though it's currently still in the works, it's actually almost complete now finally, but when it is finished I have to go back and do a lot of heavy editing and all that kind of stuff, which I have done that for up to 4 chapters so far, which is good. But even with that said, there's still a lot to do. Like in regards to making sure that the history is correct and all that other stuff, because I actually came across, and this is also why it took me so long to edit that video as well, because I had discovered that the history information that I had originally found was incorrect. So I had to go back and do everything I possibly could into salvaging what I had to make sure I didn't have to like delete or erase those points, because it's key to the story. But yeah, that's basically just what I wanted to say about that I've been really trying to getting my book published. I've worked on a query letter, and I've also trying to see if I can find beta readers, people who'd be willing to read my book, give me their opinion, let me know what they think, and all that kind of stuff. So I will actually be leaving links in the description of where you can read the book. There are going to be 3 sites, which are Wattpad, Inked, and DeviantArt. You can read it on those sites. There won't be limited options. If you can't read it on one site, you can read it on the other, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, last episode we finally started on Rebecca's story, and she definitely comes off to me as a very cautious individual. She is headstrong, but she is extremely cautious when there are things happening. And I really like that, because in so many horror games, where are all the cautious people? It's always the, oh, ghosts don't exist in this supposed haunted mansion, let's stay for a night, and everyone ends up dead. Or something like that. Of course, I'm just pulling your leg when I say that, but it doesn't happen in a lot of stuff, but it does. It does and it doesn't. And so it's really good to see, in a sense, of Rebecca kind of being the one of being extremely cautious to things, even though she is superstitious. Well, no, she doesn't from what I can gather, she doesn't believe in ghosts, but she believes in the history of a place. Like, she believes in facts that can back it up. But she knows that there's something going on, and she's not outright ignoring it, which I think is really good. And I'm really, really happy with that. So, with that said, let's continue on to Rebecca's story. The entire visit took a whole 24 minutes, and my trip to the mansion, as it turns out, is a useless endeavor in itself. Isabel is no longer there, left shortly before I arrived. Yeah, with Ash. Or at least, that's what the few staff who saw her assumed. None of them knew where she went, but I can take a few guesses. There are only a number of places in Luxbourne she frequents, and, well, she's never been the complex kind. It doesn't really take a genius to figure it out. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She didn't leave on her own. It's because of Ashton she left. She could have at least waited for Miss Cooper. It would have saved her having to pay the cab fare twice today.
And right after she was told to stay put! I mean, who does that?
Oh.
Oh, sod off! You don't own the road!
love that. I love Rebecca. In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me were a string of apologies for my trouble, and a request to let her know when I find Isabella. The whole affair didn't even last long. I probably spent more of the time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm weaving my way back to downtown Luxbourne, worried sick, and on top of that, maybe a little annoyed. Yeah. Whether an unexpected turn of events or at Isabella herself, I'd rather not think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's film. Besides, I'm perfectly sure that's where I'll find her. Yep. As one would expect, people are already gathered at the movie house when I get to it. The small avenue where it's located has been closed off early for any passing traffic, to make way for the avid moviegoers who are sure to crowd the venue. I have to park almost a street away and walk the remaining distance because of it. That tends to happen. Looking for them has taken a while in a crowd this big, but I eventually spot them near the entrance. Thanks to Zachary, mostly. And like I've surmised, Isabella's with them.
I knew it.
Wasting no time, I march over to the little group. Words filled with concern tumble out of my mouth before I can even stop myself.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness! Becca, you're just in time.
An odd expression crosses her face as I hold it with both hands, but I ignore it in favor of getting a good look at her, forcing her to keep still and fix her gaze at me.
Becca, you're squishing my face.
That's cute.
How are you? Are you all right? Why wouldn't I be?
You fell down the stairs! There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confused frown at my questions, she looks pretty much like how she would any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things with her at first glance. The last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I hadn't checked on her, she probably would have died on her bed with the rest of us none the wiser. It's one thing we laugh about now, but moments like those also teaches you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to constantly worry about her. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely baseless.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes, and gently as she can, Isabella pushes my hands away. Yet before he says anything, I already have a hunch how this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today. That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as I have imagined. It. That's cute. Why is that cute? Oh my god. And Ash is just like, dude, really? She dodges my hand when I reach for the back of her head, intending to check the said injury myself, even makes a show of hiding behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry devolves into a shameless game of tag. Shouting and chasing like none of us can be bothered to act like the full-grown adults we're all supposed to be. Including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabel, but Ash? Out of everyone? In fact, if that stupid smirk on his face tells me anything, he finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
He thinks it's so amusing. Punch him.
She did look pale when I saw her.
How you bring it up?
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this. Just you wait.
I like the fact she's still hiding behind Zach.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment's pause. My hand stills midair as my attention shifts to Ashton, and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. He doesn't meet my eye. I don't I don't think he's even aware of what he said. But the meaning of each syllable alone is clear. They echo. They sting. They burn. Oh. Yeah, you like Ash.
I'm sorry. Saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Of course. Of course. Why would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put? After that little chat about money this morning? Something close to silence falls when I mull over their words, both what's already been said and what's left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamp out before they surface. Thoughts I hide the best I can in the deepest part of my mind, locking it away for no one to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
Yeah, because at first I'm like, I was surmising that she might have been upset / kind of maybe jealous over the fact that Ashton had done this for Isabella. But yeah, she definitely has feelings for Ash. 100%. Try as I might, the green-eyed monster eerily rears its ugly head. Like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in a manner far too gentle, far too sincere, whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing. Despite what he says, despite his tone.
Look, you guys.
For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking like he often tells me, or maybe there really is something there. But in his short display of impatience, I know the whole of it is just for show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake is it this time, though? For him? For Zachary? For her? Or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens then snaps shut almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty. So many things I can use to reason and get him to agree. But because he speaks with much certainty, with much reassurance, it feels like there isn't even a choice. All I can give is a long, deep breath and a reluctant nod in the face of it. Before I can get a grip of myself and my own weaknesses, the mood immediately shifts, and I'm being tackled into a hug.
Thanks, Becca! It's always been you with him, isn't it? Did you say something?
Yeah.
Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
A lie, obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep things as they are, or so I tell myself. Little do I know, this is merely a preamble. It starts out quietly, without fanfare, almost amidst friendly jibs and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. Ah, here we go. Yep. Back to this. One that looks suspiciously like a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how ludicrous it all is, Isabella stubbornly insists, as if our whole life depends on acknowledging the truth in her story. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Crevens? I think I'm saying that right. Crevens. Even my students wouldn't fall for this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
She doesn't give me the time to regret nor think over my choice of words, for there it escalates, grows into an argument too petty for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me.
Yeah.
If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up. There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
Yeah, see what I mean?
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
Scary face.
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all this. And however much my own has already been frayed earlier, there's no one else. Who else can deal when someone's selfishly acting like a kid? Like every other time, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Oh boy. Just like that, she cuts us off. Slams the door right on our faces while my own temper flares before I can stop it. Although it falters briefly at the hard expression on her, when she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold on to it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression and balled fists, throwing a tantrum is simply unacceptable. For a grown woman at that. Well, when people are saying that you didn't see anything, it was just like, that things like that don't exist, even though you know you clearly saw it, and you get so frustrated that no one is at least willing to hear you out with any form of bias. I mean, who wouldn't be, like, throwing a tantrum like that, you know? Really just understand where Isabella is coming from here. Words form at the tip of my tongue, ready. But before I can open my mouth and let it all out, her feelings and mistakes be damned, Zachary raises a voice of his own.
Guys!
A warning unearthed the warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stop and look at him, and even our own anger subsides a little at his tone.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Yeah, see?
And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level head over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say, and when he lets it fall, they only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
Well, you can't say no to Zach, goddammit. And as careful as he is with his own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be here for him, to give what little support we can give, yet here he is, trying to keep 3 stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Later, we can and will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it, and at the moment, my anger and whatever reprimands it carries no longer matter. Beside me, Ashton appears to have already caught on. The lines of his shoulders eased to something much more relaxed, his expression back to its usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, her hands clasping the straps of her own bag like a lifeline, eyes trained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an undeniable hurt. But she's never been good at hiding what she thinks, always the open book, always the one to wear her heart out in the open. And when she looks up, her answer is almost as simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Her lips are curled up in a smile. Though lacking both its usual brightness and glee, it's a smile nonetheless. I've seen it countless of times. It's the very same one she would show when she knows I think it's supposed to be when she knows she has no other choice. There's a spelling error. Oh, whatever. Or simply when things get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it still catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run, to balk at the first sign of losing this time. I won't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us, less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet here she is, holding herself and coping with it like how she would with matters concerning her family. Outside of that, to me, she has already been this childish, naive girl, and watching the opposite play out right now. Somehow, I find it difficult to wrap my head around it.
All right, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
Oh. But I envy her.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one!
Aw, don't cry.
Hit him again.
Stop it!
I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer. The shine in her eyes when she looks at the world. However, everything seems to simply fall back into a pleasant, lively rhythm with her around. How easily and tightly she fits into our lives, even without bonds only long years could forge, like a lost piece of a puzzle despite her jagged edges. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton, of all people, can be drawn to her. Yeah.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
Hit him again.
That too! If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
I make no effort keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, linger stifling in the air, as I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teasing remarks, and Ashton's tender, affectionate smiles, all before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, is what I'd often tell myself, yet the way my heart rends as just the sight of them hurts. Like a coward, I walk away from it all, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me from these thoughts. Because, like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Dusk has already given way to night when we leave the film fest. Unfortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood, like I'm hoping. Neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy. Too loud. Too many people taking what little space the sidewalk offers. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those they barely know, let alone care about. It's like that in any real kind of busy place. Especially when it's just like afternoon, then it can get really crazy. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have minded the crowd, nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to lighten up.
See you guys some other time.
Oh, whoa. Oh yeah, I think at this bit she thought she saw the ghost across the street. Yeah.
Yeah, see ya!
Not even to return the smiles Ashton and Zachary give us when we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper, or his call, or earlier than that. Maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Bloody hell, it could have been because of that sodding letter, for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I want is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then this dull throbbing at the side of my head won't turn into a full-blown headache, too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming.
I mean, she's just scared, Rebecca. Like, you can probably see that. There's something wrong. She's probably just talking to try and calm her own nerves.
But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled? All those months he worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it. Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
Oh.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want to...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spot my car, I immediately make a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt at starting a conversation, just so we'll have something to fill the dead air, to replace the strained atmosphere we've somehow walked into. One thing, the very thing, I'm not too keen to deal with at present. Behind me, Isabella also changes her pace to match mine, her soft strides growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'd suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort, but there are definitely times when she can be the least coordinated person on the planet.
Becca, hey! Oh no. Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry? Yeah, but I think all of us are like that at a certain point. They're not really completely unfounded, once you've already gotten familiar with her habits, though right now, this is also at the very end of the list of things I want to think about. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls after me sounds nothing more than background noise to my ears now.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella. If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school? Do you want to talk about it?
A long pause follows, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the same, my hand stops short of unlocking my car, and my grip on the handle tightens. I can feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answers I'd give. She's the same as Zachary. They're bad liars. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on, surprisingly. This time her tone is quieter, more tentative than usual.
Was it because of the letter?
Aw, sweetie. It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk, yet something in how she says it irks me.
If it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Wherever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not at this minute, preferably never. Especially when there are already a million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head. Sometimes my patience can be tried for so long. I'm not in the mood to talk. This cold caught up with me.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Wonder what the plus means. And yeah, we were there. There was something weird. Definitely.
I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things. I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella!
Yeah?
A pause, though I don't let it last. Only to give myself a small window to breathe before I lay down the words between us with as much restraint my patient allows. Which is not much, after everything. I can only hope Isabella will simply take them as they are. She can be stubborn as a mule when she wants to be.
This kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
She blinks, and although disappointment flashes momentarily in her face, she gives me a curt nod. A relief enough for me, perhaps the first time I genuinely feel it today, and as unpleasant as this day has been, seeing something go the way I've anticipated takes the edge out of it. Even if lying through my teeth had to go with it.
Oh, all right. You should have just said so. I told you you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
I knew it! Here I thought you were just upset about something. Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. Let's just head home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me out to lunch or wherever, just... not right now.
Okay, but should you be driving?
Bella. I just noticed that her name is Belly. That's cute.
If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least. Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
I'm already opening the door and climbing into the seat before she can protest. Left with no other choice, she follows inside shortly, albeit with a bit of reluctance. The guilt from this will eat at me later, but for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear and hide under. For now, this is the better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist or giving her vague answers. Certainly better than harsh words and outright lashing out at her. I can find a little comfort in that. Thankfully, if there's anything left to be spoken between us after, we won't have to discuss it on the way home. Or rather, we can't. Because no sooner have we hit the road, Isabella dozes off. I've been there. Despite my foul mood, I still end up suppressing laughter once the first sounds of her breathing fill the car.
Mama?
Oh,
Not your mom, Isabella.
Rebecca is sweet. Like, she can be very harsh, but you know she's also still a really caring person. Slow and steady, the quiet rhythm so completely unlike her, so far removed from every impression anyone has of her. A few faint whimpers will occasionally come from her, but otherwise, it's just us, the silence, and it's so utterly unexpected. Still a welcome break, of course. Peace and quiet is one thing you'll rarely get with her around, yet it's nowhere near comforting. It merely leads the air this strange clarity. Every little sound, every single movement, more palpable. And with it comes the unease. A jolt of surprise hits me. It's almost comical, if this were a different situation. In my haste, I accidentally dislodged my mobile from its seat on the dashboard when I swiped on the screen. Soon, I'm scrambling blindly for it with my other hand, while keeping a steady eye on the road ahead. You just pull over. A voice crackles from the loudspeakers before I can put it back. Although muffled heavily by the surface, I recognize the person on the other line from her chipper tone alone.
Hello?
Hey, Rose.
Miss Cooper?
Oh, you're still awake. Evening. I hope I didn't disturb you or anything. I know it's a bit late. Sorry about that. I just want to check on you and Isabella. That girl's still not answering her mobile. Were you able to meet up with her?
And she's cutting out.
Yes. She's with me. We're on our way home.
Hello? What was that again? I can't hear you properly.
Sorry. Let me just fix this dumb phone.
My hand stops dead for a moment. I spare the device a brief glance, waiting. Seconds pass. Nothing happens, though. Frankly, I'm not sure what I'm expecting, but the lines of my mouth form into a frown, regardless.
Miss Cooper?
Yes, still here.
Still cutting out.
Did you say something?
Just that I didn't get the last part. What were you saying again?
No, I thought you... Never mind. Must be the signal acting up.
Shit.
Come again?
What?
Is everything all right over there?
Certainly. Is something wrong? Why wouldn't?
That is some really good audio right there, though. The whole breaking up and such. Like, this is a scary situation, but I just can't... The sound of the audio sounds so authentic and real. Terrifyingly real. Oh, that's great.
Okay, you seem to be busy. If this is a good time, I can just call you back some, other...
Shit. I have to make a conscious effort not to panic right then and there, although my tight hold on the steering wheel tells me a different story altogether.
Miss Cooper? Rose? Hey, Rose! Are you still there?
Only a burst of static answers me, and... Maybe this lapse is entirely because of exhaustion? It has been a long day, and I haven't fully recovered from last week's bout of flu, contrary to what I've been telling people. Though perhaps, had I paid closer attention to it, had I not been so occupied with other thoughts, I probably would have noticed earlier that it never came from my phone. Oh, shit. But from somewhere right behind me. No! Time slows to a crawl. Looking up is a mistake. First thing I see is its face. Ghastly shade. Every inch battered, bruised, and bloodied. Even in the darkness, the world passing by in a blur of lights outside, I can still make out the wounds. Blood still oozes from it, little trails of crimson running down its face, glistening under what little light there is. But it is in the gleam in its eyes that catches mine. The quiet plea, the anguish, the desperation in them, more than its hideous features and the awful stench of gore now soaking the air. And try as I might, I can't bring myself to look away, even as its lips contort into a horrific smile. Fuck. Even as a sharp, harsh noise pierces the air and the silence around us.
Rebecca! Huh? Car! Eyes on the road!
Against everything I've been taught, I've constantly reminded myself. I close my eyes. Shit. It's a brief moment. A short, vivid section of muscle memory and instinct completely taken over. And if I didn't allow it, if my hands didn't move, or my feet didn't hit the brakes, in that exact second, I might have... Isabella and I might have... No. I shake the notion away before I lose myself in it. Right now, it's an ugly line of thought I refuse to venture into. Not when breathing is a struggle and every ounce of strength has been totally drained from my body. Most definitely, not while Isabella's panicked voice beside me still rings in my ears. We're alive. We're safe. That's all that matters. But it is not her face that I look for when I finally open my eyes. She's gone. Yep, all gone. I expected stains, little telling marks and creases on the covers to show where it sat not a second ago. But whatever it is, it left not a single trace. And though courage is a hard thing to gather at this point, I take what little of it remains in me and turn towards the back seat. Even then, there's none. Or was there really something in there in the first place? With how empty it is, I'm beginning to doubt it. This stupid flu again.
I need a long rest after this.
Yeah, no kidding. I think we all do. My hands fall uneasily to my sides, numb from how taut my grip on the wheel has gone, yet still stumbling from unexpected rush of adrenaline. Against my ears, my heart still pounds in erratic rhythm, and my breathing hasn't slowed down. The world has already rightened itself without waiting for me, and little by little, second after second, as I sit here motionless, color begins to seep back around me. Along with it are sounds and a voice, no longer the indistinct ringing it was earlier.
Rebecca! Becca! Are you okay? Answer me, will you? You're scaring me! You know what? I think we should just call a taxi since...
Can you keep it down?
Strained, harsh, and completely unintentional. But with heat prickling at the back of my eyes and the mild throbbing at my temple, I can honestly do with a little silence for now.
Keep it down? We almost crashed, Becca!
I know what happened. It was a lapse. I'm sorry.
A lapse? You call that a lapse? Becca, I really don't want to end up a mangled mess on the side of the road. Or a mangled mess anywhere.
Why? Stop with the foreshadowing! Something about that doesn't... Game is doing that on purpose, I think. With the intentional, yeah, this is what could happen if you go this route. No, God, no, please don't.
All I'm asking, if the time ever comes, which I hope isn't right now, is a peaceful death. Give that one to me at least. Not that I'm asking for it, but please.
Okay. Isabella's voice actress is great. Just this alone, this line alone is really good. Oh my god.
Isabella. Belle, you're overreacting. If you're so worried, why don't you drive?
You don't have a license.
Oh, see?
I keep telling you to get one, didn't I? For the past 5 years. Do you see why now?
I wasn't really expecting to stay here this long. I thought it'd just be for a year or two.
Oh. All of a sudden, a pensive mood comes over her. Isabella looks away then, while what's left of my little lecture never crosses the tip of my tongue. I don't allow it to. Because in each of those words she let loose earlier is a small truth. Her stay has always been meant to be something fleeting. Earn some good money, go home, is what she'd tell herself during her first year here. Now, half a decade later, I'm not sure if she still believes that. Even I'm not sure if I still believe it. And if there's something in her reasons that has changed along the way, even if I already have a hunch, it's one thing I'll never bother to ask. Those are hers to keep.
I'll be careful this time, I promise. Just please, can we give this whole thing a rest for now?
She nods, and that is the end of it. We spend the rest of the trip back to Samwell in silence. All thoughts of an overactive imagination playing tricks on a flu-addled mind, and of smiles never meant for my eyes, abandoned if only for a brief moment. Oh, Tuesday. Ooh, new scenery. Here we go. Oh, cute. Still cute. After watching Blue Fiancé, Isabella tried making small talk with Rebecca, but later was in a prickly mood and was not interested. On their way home, Rebecca glimpsed something suspicious sitting in the back seat of her car. I am going to end it here. I am in no need for any backseat drivers. Oh, God. So maybe it's from that point on, the two interactions from one inside the mansion and that bit in her car causing her to look into more of the history, or maybe it's something coming up. I don't know. Oh, boy. There's another episode on Rebecca's story, and it still feels like the beginning to me. It's interesting how, with every character or so, the beginning feels almost a bit longer for each character. I'm not sure if that's intentional, or maybe it's just me thinking that on my end, but I really want to just keep playing this game and just continue, but I want to show you, I want all of us to be on this journey as we go through this game and just to try to see what happens. But yeah, holy crap, makes me, and I don't drive. I don't drive at all, and that's like a thing of nightmares, holy crap. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Letter. I hope to actually get this out a lot sooner than the last one, but again, I am deeply sorry it took so long to get that one out as it did. But anyway, guys, I'm not gonna make like any kind of big promises like, oh, it'll be out in a couple of days or something like that, just because I know my mindset is this game, but also finish my book. So yeah, it's just kind of a warring factor right there. But anyway, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful night, day, week, whenever, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye, guys!